Right, we're recording.
Okay, good evening, colleagues. Welcome to the meeting of the Executive Cabinet Member Deputy Leader portfolio. We've just got one item on the agenda, which is Civic Core Refurbishment Program. So, Justin, are you going to present the paper?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This report relates to the Civic Core refurbishment programme. As members will know, the programme is addressing significant backlog maintenance across the Town Hall, the Albert Halls and the Museum and Library. These are all Grade 2 listed civic buildings that play a critical role for the borough and will remain operational while the works are delivered. The programme has now completed REBA Stage 3, that's the Royal Institution of British Architects Stage 3, and is moving into REBA Stage 4, Technical Design and Pre-Construction. As part of that next step, we need some additional specialist professional support. It's important to say that the professional services for this programme have been procured through fully compliant routes. Services up to Stage 3 were procured through the Northern Procurement Alliance framework, and the architectural services for the next stage are also being procured through a compliant framework call-off. The issue before members this evening relates only to one specific element, the multidisciplinary mechanical, electrical and plumbing services, along with some associated coordination and survey work needed as we move through stages 4, 5, 6 to 7. That's the REBA stages I've referred to before. For that particular package of work, there wasn't a suitable compliant framework available that we could deliver the full scope we needed at that point. We did look at alternative procurement routes, but those would have caused delay, additional cost and loss of continuity at a really critical stage of this programme. On that basis, a waiver of Contract Standing Order 4 was approved under Contract Standing Order 5, allowing an award without competition with the maximum value of £155,000. The report confirms that this approach represents best value for the Council, avoids unnecessary delay and sits entirely within the capital budget that was already approved, and there is no increase in funding being sought at this point. Because of the value exceeds £150,000, exceeds £50,000, the contract standing orders require that the waiver is formally reported to the Executive Cabinet Member, and this is why we are reporting here tonight. The recommendations are simply to note the waiver and to delegate authority to the Borough Solicitor to complete the necessary legal formalities. I've got my colleague Adrian McLaughlin, who is Head of Capital Projects. He is here to answer any questions on the technical side of things. So we're here obviously seeking a recommendation to seek authority to instruct the next step for the legal formalities. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Justin. Councillor Warren?
Thank you, Chair. I've just got two main questions, really. You kind of intimated a little bit that you're developing a framework at the minute, but it's kind of like how far is the framework being developed so that there is a framework in the future? I said framework way too many times then, so that this can kind of go out to tender. And attached to that as well, I've got another question after this. We hear quite a lot as councillors when, especially from local businesses really, that they can't get on the framework. And even though we hear about, you know, the chest and all various kind of things, can we actually see that as councillors as well, so that when we are lobbied and approached by local businesses, we can either say, oh, actually, this is what you need to do to either go onto that framework, or this is who you contact to be able to look at going on that framework as well. So that's the first question, please.
I'll let Adrian answer. I think it is an established framework. I think we're just bolting on this service to an existing contractor who's the Bailey Gardner, who's the architect, the principal architects on the project. It's something that was basically just included into the scope of their works. But I think we do use different frameworks for different purposes. But I'll let Adrian sort of just pick up on that because it's his field.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Councillor Roder. Thank you, Chair. So, just to answering a question directly about framework. So there is multiple frameworks within authority currently for particular PPM, which is managed directly by Dean and Mark from Cooperative Property Operational. And that's framework addressing issues such as, electrical engineer, such as direct plumbing stuff. There's something problem with the lights. But what we currently don't have in a house, it's a capital multi-million framework as such. And we start working with procurement on it, to be honest with you. Just started probably 3 weeks ago. Program is around 8 months until we'll be able to establish this framework. But what we done in meantime, we're using existing government framework. So there's one which we use specifically to procure architect, who we're presenting a paper for, is NPA, Northern Procurement Allies. And that's government framework which we as a Bolton Council sign off into as a chair organizational, and we kind of involved with the government when it was a setup, I think 10 years ago, 12 years ago, so a long time ago. And it's 100% owned by councils. What's happened on this specific issue, when we appointed architect under law of architecture, a framework didn't allow extended appointment to M&E, so any multidisciplinary basically appointment such as electrical and mechanical parts, which we identify we needed following completion of a RIBA stage 3, so in Lane basically halfway through. And that was the decision we need to carry on with existing consultant, and there wasn't a way to progress through existing framework, because existing framework was only specifically for architecture. But answering your question directly, yes, we're working on it, and it's an 8 months program starting from the 1st of February to establish our own framework in-house.
Okay. Yeah. And in relation to your second question, before somebody else comes in, Councillor Warren, I am aware that recent legislation on procurement now allows local authorities to restrict tenders or competition to local businesses for specific contracts up to a certain limit. I can't remember what the limit is. Justin might be able to help us on that. So I think there is some work needs to be done on that. Last time when I spoke to the Borough Treasurer, he was saying to me that we are going to look into how we can make that work going forward so that it becomes easier for local businesses to bid for local authority work, which I think is a very valid and very important point for all of us. So I just thought I'll say that before Justin or Mr. Lee comes in.
Sorry, just to jump in, you beat me to it actually, just to say yes, we're doing some work with lots of local businesses in terms of how we can maximise using the Bolton pound. I think we've all agreed at scrutiny that's the best thing to do as well. What the feedback that we're getting from a lot of companies is it's really hard to navigate the chest and the procurement world, so we're doing some work with our procurement team and with our colleagues in CVS, which will be a bit of almost like a training programme with local businesses about how they can access all that and how to write bids, because there is an art to doing that. So the legislation is coming in. Councillor Zaman is quite right. It's not quite with us yet, but it's coming down the tracks very soon. So we're on with that at the minute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? You've still got your hand up. Yeah,
I've got a second one.
Go on.
So the second one is just obviously I've been in the council 8 years now. When I first kind of came in, there was a very long backlog of maintenance work, and there was a lot of work that the council undertook because the council didn't know what buildings it owned, what it didn't, what it needed to pay, what it didn't. All of that's now come in-house again. So it was in-house, bit of a hash, went out-house, again, not perfect, now back in-house. Are we able to kind of see some of the work that kind of like goes on really to ensure that the backlog maintenance is being caught up, and also that future maintenance is put on adequate kind of models to make sure that work's done when it should be, so that things aren't broken when they could be maintained as well, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Warren. I think thanks for the question. Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've been conscious of since we brought back in-house the corporate property services in May of last year. We're about 9 months in now, and we're sort of now mobilised and bedded in. And we've just actually been through our own business improvement review, and we've just been through a sort of a local our own directorate performance board as well. So we've been sort of picking up sort of key themes, and one of the things we've noted is that we're on the front foot now with our planned maintenance. We're really sort of more self-aware in terms of our property, what needs to be done, and prioritising obviously where I need to. So it's a good time, and I think actually we're happy to share with you and probably sort of work with you. And sort of give you a few examples over the next few months about what we're doing, maybe bring you out on site maybe. We do, I think we've got scrutiny coming up in April as well, so there's opportunity to sort of talk through where we are and actually sort of come and meet with all members, or sorry, the scrutiny committee, and sort of talk through where we are at the moment, the lessons learned over the last 9-12 months, and obviously where we're going. And we will very much, the topic of conversation will be the backlog maintenance of the civic core, as we call it, or the town hall, Albert Hall's library museum, which has been sort of programmed in and budgeted for the last couple of years. So it's something obviously that we're members are fully aware of, and I know you have our support. We've got your support, so thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wilkinson. You
Can't find the button then. I think the report highlights a number of issues which have been, well, not just lurking for the last few years, but many years. And I have to say that property services, as they were one of the Cinderella services. And in some respects were false economies because of the years and years of cuts we had. People then took the easy option, and there was the easy option because it didn't mean you were getting rid of children's services, you weren't getting rid of adults, you weren't getting even more cuts in roads. It was something nobody ever saw, and it was easy to trim down. And those who have been even longer than Councillor Warren will realise that we were creating a rod for our own backs over the years, but that's the way things went. I think a couple of things have come out in all of this is the difficulty of what local businesses, particularly local residents, think how councils work. That it's dead easy, dead simple, and the report itself and the points that Mr. Fallows has made indicates the level of legality. He could call it hoops we have to jump through, but which have been imposed upon local government about how you do things in a certain way to ensure so-called best value. I don't think we've always had it, to be quite honest, and all the other things. So I think progressing, we need to try and explain to people in very simple layman's terms how businesses can bid for contracts, whether it's small stuff, big stuff, or whatever. And I have to say, the report itself, and I know it's a very good technical report, no disagreement with it, but it is a technical report. And if I was a member of the public, out of the last 29 years, I've read through quite a few of these things. But if I'm a member of the public, I'd just say, oh, it's council gobbledygook, it's just covering everything up, blah, blah, blah. And that's how we get that misunderstanding about where we go. Whether we can look at creating things so people can, the layman can understand it in a more easier way than what we are. So I would like to see how we progress with the Bolton Pound initiative, because we've talked about it for a lot of years. What does worry me is how long it's going to take. Because I can remember, I've been there that long, when we had another big revamp of the town hall, and we had scaffolding all over the show. And one thing we didn't touch, because the town hall is a listed building, we didn't touch the windows.
Mm.
So guess what? Most of the windows in the town hall are nailed shut, because if you opened them, they'd fall out. I can assure you, our group room, probably other parts of the town hall, has wonderful damp penetration issues. You look up in the ceiling, it's almost a work of art. So I'd be interested to know how long we're actually going to take on the programme of works to start off with. But I think it would be useful if we did have something to scrutiny committee of where we are, what we're doing, because to be quite honest, the previous outsourcing created us more problems, and that was just trying to save money than it solved.
Yeah.
And I think the fact we've had to bring it back in house to get some control over it shows, I have to be quite honest, how bad it was. And I'm glad to say some people have now gone. Can't be any more blunter than that, because I think they made a dog's dinner of it. I'd just like to know where we are on that. And the other thing which did have an impact with outsourcing was the SAMP process, because that basically has been going nowhere for several months. Well, actually a bit longer than that, probably a couple of years. So I'm hoping when we have it at scrutiny, we can see where we're going, who, what, why, when, how, hopefully we can have some real progress. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Councillor Wilkinson. Justin, did you want to come in?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to just reflect on what Councillor Wilkinson just commented on there. I think I know the construction industry is trying to and has taken steps into make contracts and the sort of formal words that they use in contracts more plain English. So, for example, JCTs are now being replaced by NECs, which is sort of a little bit more easy to read, and sort of again for non-technical people to adopt. And it's something that the industry is obviously conscious of, about using too much jargon when they're sort of talking about contracts and procurements and things. And also, I went to scrutiny committee. I think it was sort of probably just over 12 months ago, to talk through the backlog maintenance program. I'll be coming back again because we've advanced significantly on the design and concept stage of things. We're now at that sort of quite advanced REBA 4 stage. We will start to see some action actually on the town hall. It won't be too invasive. We will be fixing the roof. We'll be fixing the heating and ventilation system, and the windows are very much on the agenda. So don't worry. So there will be some disruption, but it's something we'll articulate with members and the public, obviously, over the next coming weeks and months. But it's something that we will be bringing, we are programmed in to bring to scrutiny, and obviously share with you in a bit more detail, and we'll answer questions then as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Vicky, did you want to come in?
Yeah, it was just to confirm that at corporate scrutiny on the 13th of April, the item on corporate maintenance backlog and including SAMP is on the agenda.
Right. Okay, thank you. Lee, did you want to come in?
Thank you, Chair. It was just a very quick one to say that I'm planning on this coming through scrutiny on a regular basis, because this is absolutely the kind of things that needs to go through scrutiny committee from a financial point of view, from all the work that we're doing, and to just share it with the public, because unfortunately it's one of those jobs that you almost have done on your house, that we're going to spend a lot of money, and a lot of it is to get the town hall fit for purpose, but you're not going to see much. The average man on the street won't see much difference. It's like having a new roof on your house. You've still got a roof on the house, just it doesn't look. So I think we need to show the pictures and tell the story. So we're very conscious of that, and scrutiny is a really good way of doing it. So it will be on the work programme, subject to cabinet members agreeing that moving forward.
Yeah, happy to do that. Absolutely. Yeah, great. I can't see any more hands, so I am happy to approve the report as recommended in section 8 of the paper. So that concludes the business of this meeting. Thank you very much, colleagues, and I hope you all have a nice evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.